This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm talking about savings optimization. How should you prioritize your savings in 2025, especially if you're getting close to retirement? How do you save the right accounts in the right order? We want to get to better financial stability, flexibility, just have that breathing room with our finances. So yesterday I talked about making sure you have enough cash on hand for emergencies, big expenses, and if you're close to retirement, we got to have an extra cushion so you can pause those portfolio withdrawals in a market downturn. So if you missed that, go back. I talked about that at length yesterday. That is the first rung on the ladder. We have to step on that rung first, and then we can step on the next rung, which is thinking about longer term goals and saving for those. And next up is retirement. I cannot emphasize the need to have adequate cash above all else. I really want to hammer this point home because we always have expenses that come up and then they go on a credit card. That's the American way. But once you have plenty of cash for a cushion, you're going to get out of that stupid hamster wheel that comes when you're always putting stuff on a credit card. If you use your credit cards and you are not paying off the balance 100% in full every single month, with rare exception. I'm talking like 4.5 years ago, you had to put something on a credit card and that was the last time. Fine. But if you're continuing to use your credit cards, not paying them off, that is an indication that you do not have enough liquid cash savings and you haven't prioritized this. So I hate to beat a dead horse, but we got to do that first. It is so important. Anybody who has financial breathing room and less stress financially, they have plenty of cash. All right. Once we have that taken care of, we need to start thinking about retirement. Now, hopefully, if you're listening to this podcast, especially those of you who are close to retirement, you've been thinking about this and saving for decades at this point. Many of you are already doing that, I know. So we need to answer the question, though, of how much is enough. If you don't have any high interest rate debt like credit cards, especially if you don't have car loans, student loans that are crushing you, you should be saving at least 10% of your income towards retirement, maybe even a little bit more than that if you're behind on your retirement savings. Many of you listening are in your peak earning years, like you're earning more now than you have. If you rewind 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you're earning more now. And so you can hopefully afford to save more because your income has gone up. And if you don't have debts, I'm not talking about mortgage debt. We'll come back to that in a later episode. But if you don't have high interest rate debt, or you don't have some like crazy car loan costing you $1,000 a month, we have to take care of that first. But we can't stop retirement plan contributions. So here's what you do on this next rung of the ladder. You want to maximize your employer match. For most people who have like a standard 401k type plan at their work, you're usually getting a 3 to 5% match from your employer every single month when you put in those paycheck contributions. So if you're saving 3 or 4% of your pay, you're getting the same amount. All of a sudden you have 6, 7, 8, 9% of your paycheck that's going towards retirement when you include those employer contributions. So again, if we're going to the 10% target, that's generally a good benchmark to consistently save around 10% for most of your working life. And if you're doing that, your employer is helping you in a lot of those cases. It's a great benefit. Now, if you need to cut back for a brief amount of time on those retirement plan contributions, let's say you did have a credit card debt, you had some type of financial emergency, that's fine. But we don't want to go long periods without at least contributing somewhere in the range of 3 to 5% to get that full matching contribution. We don't want to contribute any less than what we need to get that full match because you're leaving money on the table from your employer. You're saying, hey, I don't want this free money you're going to give to me. If I contribute 2% and you're only going to give me 2%, but if I contribute 4%, you're going to give me 4%. So we want to maximize that match, whatever your employer is providing. Now, HSA, health savings accounts, also need to be considered as well, but I want to kind of put this aside for now, because many of you listening don't have one, you have to have a high deductible health plan in order to save in one of these. But they have really important tax benefits. You can also sometimes, depending on your employer, you may get matching contributions from your employer as well. So just make sure that you're not forgetting about the health savings account. But my point here is, once we have the liquidity taken care of, once you have enough savings in your savings account, we need to maximize at least your employer match and start focusing on long-term financial goals. If you need to save only 3, 4, 5%, great, do that. If you can't yet save 10% because you're having debts to pay off, then I'm telling you, at least do enough to get that employer matching contribution. Focus on the debts so you can return to the retirement plan contributions later. All right, tomorrow I'm going to talk about the next rung on the ladder, which is debt. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.